Do you own a lot of Glocks? If you do, then you probably wouldn't be impressed with a new one, would you? Well, how about an old one? No, I'm not talking about the Gen 1. Let's think before that. So let's take it on back to 1982 when MJ's Thriller was a hit on the radio, cardigans were in style, and Knight Rider was fresh to TV. The Austrian military was in need of a new service pistol, and that's when Gaston Glock, a curtain rod maker, entered his pistol into the mix. And yes, I did say curtain rod maker. Gaston Glock actually won the contract, and that's when the P80 was born. So the P80 actually stands for Pistoli 80, and it's what we now know today as a G17. Let's dive into this box, shall we? First thing I want to say is this box is actually really cool. And it has Glock's original designs for their logo and the pistol on the box itself. Oh, and I forgot to mention it also has a magnetic flap that's pretty cool to play with. So inside the box you get a certificate of authenticity, a manual, the gun lock, and the very famous and oh so familiar Glock plastic Tupperware dish. So let's go ahead and open this plastic box, and you're greeted with the gun. Let me just make sure it's clear, and it is. So this is a P80. This is the very first Glock that was ever introduced into the world, and that's how it all started. Glock did a really good job at replicating their original design. They actually didn't have the molds for these anymore, so they had to recreate it, and that's why this isn't a one-to-one replica of the original P80, but it's as close as you're gonna get from Glock themselves. So what's really neat about this gun is it has the original polished pebble stippling on the grip, and it goes all the way around. It also doesn't have an accessory rail because in the 80s, they didn't have too many accessories to put on a pistol. Another thing you might notice is the extractor is actually flat, like Hank Hill's butt.
Mr. Hill, you have no ass.
It's not a one-to-one replica only because Glock didn't choose to include certain things. For example, the barrel used to be a pencil barrel in the original, and they opted for their newer generation of barrels. Also, the magazines are a Gen 4 mag. They couldn't re-replicate the old non-drop free U-notch magazines, so they opted for the Gen 4s instead. Let's go ahead and test out the trigger. It feels like a 5-pound trigger. Did you know Glocks weren't actually popular when they were first imported into the States? And that's only because everybody was used to shooting revolvers or having thumb safeties on the gun, and people weren't comfortable with shooting a plastic gun and not having a thumb safety. But once people started realizing that they were actually reliable, they were very durable.
You can stomp on them, you can throw them, you can drive trucks on them.
You can hold more rounds than a revolver, and it would take an inaccurate shooter with a revolver and make them accurate because of the 5-pound trigger pull. That's when people started falling in love with them. So why would you buy this gun? It's a nice piece of history to have. It's a good addition to your collection if you own a lot of Glocks already. I mean, hell, even I want to buy one. I'm a Glock fan, and I would love to have this in my collection of Glocks. And it's a Glock, so you can take it out to the range. Next time you do, wear your best 80s clothes and you'll make a fashion statement. So let us know what you think of the P80 down in the comments below. I'm also going to leave a link in the description so that way you can find it easier. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.